in between all this, Clint Eastwood spoke last night. Jim Fallows, help me understand what that was all about.
If only I could. I think the backstory to it must have been that Clint Eastwood was famously featured in a Super Bowl ad about 2 years ago, which was seen as implicitly endorsing the Obama administration and its auto bailout. That was it's halftime in America, and I think this may have been one way of sort of repairing his relationships with the Republican Party. But I think the Romney people must have been just pulling their hair out when he was just using up all this airtime in this sort of surreal monologue.
It wasn't just using up airtime; it was using up primetime airtime, and changing the tone of the whole evening, because the whole the whole evening was very uplifting, designed to be uplifting, with the Olympians and all of the imagery of the promise of America. And here he was being kind of borderline vulgar in some of his comments, and demeaning and rambling and old and scattered. And I just think it was. I know that the Mara Liasson on NPR this morning had a wonderful line. She said, looking at the wives, Jana Ryan and Ann Romney, it was like the mother of the bride watching a drunken toast at a wedding, that the pain on their faces. It's the danger of going off script. The man had no script. There was nothing on the teleprompter. He was supposed to speak for 3 minutes. He went for 15. And it was a truly, it's going to go down in annals as one of the most bizarre moments of a national convention.
For those who might have missed it, basically what he did, besides sort of just rambling on, is he had this empty chair next to him, which he said was President Obama. And he was quote-unquote interviewing him in a very bizarre style, and he kept pretending as if the president had told him to say something vulgar to Mitt Romney or to somebody else, and it was like, I can't tell him to do that, was his phrase. And
he went further than that.
And it was just a very odd moment. And I do think the fact that this happened at 10 p.m. This is the networks, the three major networks.
Come on.
They gave this convention, well, it turned out to be a little over 3 hours, but 3 hours of time. And that's not a lot. And so there were a lot of people, I'm sure, who turned on the convention for the very first time at 10 o'clock on Thursday and said, oh, well, yeah, let's hear what Mitt Romney has to say.
It's astounding that they could let this happen. I just don't know how you let this happen. This convention has been planned for 6 months. It's been scripted in every second, every image, every moment, every bit of music is carefully scripted.
And this was, too, on the program. He was listed as speaker to be announced.
Right,
it was supposed to be a big
surprise. But they didn't
surprise.
bring up the music as they would at the Oscars if he'd been going on too long. And it's also interesting, the vulgarity we've been talking our way around that he was referring to is one most often associated with former Vice President Dick Cheney. What he said to Senator Pat Leahy on the Senate floor, not so much with the current Vice President.